AlpenFury is the new for 2025 attraction at Canada's Wonderland. It opened as the tallest, fastest, and longest launching roller coaster in all of Canada. This is a Premier Rides multi-launch coaster standing at a height of 50 meters, reaching speeds of 115 kilometers an hour, and traverses through a whole kilometer of track. This ride also ties the North American inversion record with Steel Curtain at Kennywood with 9 inversions. First off, this is a really unique attraction. We haven't seen anything like this at Canada's Wonderland. I mean, sure, there's smaller launch coasters like Backlot Stunt Coaster and Stupi's Racing Railway, but the park doesn't have a coaster that mixes powerful launches and crazy inversions into one ride. I feel like this is exactly what Canada's Wonderland was in need of most, and AlpenFury is a must-ride attraction whenever you plan to visit. Second off, I suggest you get there early in the morning, as the lines can be as short as 45 minutes since this is still the coaster's opening year. Alright, with all that being said, let's dive into the review. When you board the train of AlpenFury, you'll notice huge similarities with Premier Ride's other launch coasters like Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando and Full Throttle at Magic Mountain. 3 cars with 6 people per car. Not really impressive capacity since this coaster is situated in one of the most attended seasonal parks in the world. Speaking of which, capacity is probably the biggest issue of this ride. It only runs 2 trains with 18 riders per train. If you compare this ride to rides like Behemoth and Leviathan, which have 3 trains with 32 riders per train, both of those rides eat through their long lines. Also, I'm not really a fan of the padding of these seats. They feel like Mindbuster padding where it's like really firm. However, I do like the restraints. The shin guards weren't as bothersome as I thought they would be, and those lap bars are just as comfortable. However, I do find it uncomfortable to get in and out of the train. Also, there's some nice posters displayed in the single rider and fast lane queue. It's a nice little nod as to what the ride's gonna be about and for what the train is supposed to be. Now let's talk about the layout. We take a right-hand turn out of the station into our first booster launch that then leads into a dip into the mountain. This launch isn't anything special, it's just to kick off the insane layout that we have coming up. We have a good pop of airtime going into this dip into the mountain as well. We then approach the main launch that leads into our double inverting top hat. And let me just say that this launch is nuts. It's a really punchy moment of the ride that always delivers. I prefer it more in the front because you feel the force of that pull out of the launch. The double inverting top hat is just as good. There's great sideways hang time combined with great views of the mountain that you just blasted out of. The twists in and out of the top hat provide great whip too. I also find it really cool how, if the operations are in sync, you can dual vortex as you crest the top while it's dropping off the mountain. You also get a good head chopper effect as you twist under Guardian's lift hill. After the twisted drop, we approach an overbank turn or a wave turn, whatever you prefer to call it. It's nothing too special. I found this to be my least favorite element of the ride. I'm not saying it's bad, however. We then approach a 0G stall that delivers good hang time in the front and middle rows. It's not as prominent in the back rows since you get whipped through the element. I feel like the stall underwhelmed me just a bit. The reason I'm saying this is because the train is moving so fast through the stall that the hang time doesn't look and feel as good as the animation that the park released last year. We're then thrown into this weird treble clef looking element called the Skyflyer loop. It's like Fury 325's turnaround, but instead of the high bank into a drop, the train rises up and flips over into an inversion. There's a nice pop of airtime when you level into the inversion, and I feel like the inversion itself is better than the back row because you get yanked down it. Now it's time for my favorite element of the ride. This is a double inversion dubbed the Ice Winder roll. There's a similar element like this at WALIBI HOLLAND with Untamed's double inverting stall. There's amazing airtime on both rolls of this element. The sideways hang time is also really good, but the firm padding on the seats make putting your hands up while transitioning through most inversions on this ride uncomfortable. Next up, the train levels out and rises up into a double barrel roll dubbed the Fire Serpent roll. Just like the Ice Winder roll, there's great airtime on both rolls. I feel like this is a back row element as you'll get better airtime on it. Well, at least from my experiences. The head chopper effects on this element are also crazy. There's a sort of tunnel structure created by the supports that hold the pullout of the wave turn. While twisting, you're wrapping around the entire wave turn as well. You feel like you can almost reach out and touch that segment of track. Following that, we have our last 2 elements of the ride, these being an airtime mill and a 0G roll. This airtime mill provides probably the strongest airtime on the ride, well, as the name suggests. And the final roll also provides a perfect moment of weightlessness. Not too much to say about these elements, they just provide a good finale for AlpenFury's crazy layout. We then hit a step up that leads into our final brake run. Overall, I feel like Premier Rides came up with a really creative layout. It's full of crazy inversions, airtime, and head choppers. I feel like it's a perfect addition to the park's already stacked lineup, and I feel like AlpenFury outshines the big 3 B&M coasters as well. For most people, the debate between this ride and Leviathan for the best ride at Canada's Wonderland is really close though. I, however, slightly prefer AlpenFury over Leviathan. Also, before AlpenFury opened, I had Behemoth as my number 1 at the park, but now that I think about it, AlpenFury is miles better than Behemoth. There are way better forces and better airtime moments, despite Behemoth being the longer ride. Alright, so for AlpenFury's final score, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. There are definitely some flaws of AlpenFury like duration and capacity, but I feel like AlpenFury's layout makes up for it. Like I said earlier, there are crazy inversions, crazy amounts of airtime, and also many head chopper effects that make this a really thrilling ride. It has an outstanding layout and it's really well paced. Kudos to Premier Rides for designing this layout, you guys nailed it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. Feel free to share your thoughts about AlpenFury in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out a lot. We're so close to 100 subscribers, guys. Alright, peace out everyone.